When I married Mark, I promised him honesty, loyalty, and partnership. But somewhere along the way, I broke that promise, and in the most destructive way possible. For months, I convinced myself that what I was doing wasn't really wrong, that I could manage the lies, that my secret would never come out. But secrets have a way of growing, and mine eventually turned into something I couldn't hide, a pregnancy. It started with my old friend, Alex. He was someone from my college, years, someone who had always been in the background. When he reached out to me about 8 months ago, I told Mark it was harmless. I even called Alex my old friend to make it sound innocent. Mark trusted me completely, so when I met Alex for coffee, drinks, or catch-ups, he didn't suspect a thing. The truth was darker. Those meetings weren't about reminiscing over old times. They quickly turned physical. At first, I told myself it was a mistake, that it would stop after that one night. But it didn't. Every time I saw Alex, it felt like stepping into a dangerous secret world where I wasn't a wife, just a woman chasing excitement. Meanwhile, at home, Mark kept working his night shifts, paying the bills, and trusting me with his whole heart, but lies build up like quicksand. I found myself making excuses, staying out later, and deleting messages. I became an expert at smiling in Mark's face while sneaking behind his back. I justified it all by telling myself Mark was distant, that he wouldn't care, that what he didn't know wouldn't hurt him. Then came the moment that changed everything. I found out I was pregnant. The shock hit me like a freight train. Mark and I hadn't been intimate often enough for me to lie to myself. The baby wasn't his. Panic consumed me. I thought about ending the pregnancy, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. I thought about confessing, but fear of losing everything kept my mouth shut. So I continued the charade, but Mark wasn't as blind as I thought. He noticed the changes, my secrecy, my mood swings, the sudden excuses. One night when I was asleep, he went through my phone. What he found shattered him. The texts with Alex, the photos, the timeline, it all told the truth I had buried for 8 months. When I woke up, Mark was sitting at the edge of the bed, phone in hand, face pale with rage and heartbreak. I tried to speak, but he silenced me with one sentence. "Whose baby is it?" The silence that followed was my confession. He didn't need words. My tears gave him the answer. He walked out that night and didn't come back. But Mark wasn't the type of man to just leave quietly. No, he plotted revenge. A week later, divorce papers arrived at my job, served in front of my co-workers. Along with them was a paternity test request, which confirmed what we both already knew. The baby wasn't his. Mark exposed me, he told our families, our friends, and even Alex's girlfriend, who had no idea what had been happening. The fallout was brutal. Alex was thrown out of his relationship, humiliated in his circle. I was ostracized by everyone I knew. My reputation, my marriage, my security, gone in one swift strike. And Mark? He walked away with his head held high. The courts gave him everything, our house, most of the savings, and even custody of our dog, who I begged to keep but didn't deserve. He made sure I was left with nothing but the consequences of my own choices. Now I sit here 8 months later, pregnant and alone, realizing I destroyed the only man who ever truly loved me. My old friend vanished the second things got difficult, leaving me to carry the weight alone. Mark never raised his voice. He never laid a hand on me. His revenge wasn't loud. It was cold, calculated, and devastating. And it worked. Because while I may have thought I was in control of my lies, in the end, the truth was stronger. And now, every time I look at my growing stomach, I'm reminded of the betrayal that cost me everything.